So Peggy, with all of the mortgage rules that have been implemented in the last 5 years, we're finding that many buyers or people that are looking to buy homes are thinking that these rules will stand in their way of buying a home.
I agree. I think every time something new comes out, everybody kind of freezes in their tracks.
So let's cover some of the rules that have been implemented in the last 5 years and help dispel some of this.
Okay.
So first things first, obviously, the stress test.
Yep.
You remember it was implemented in 2016, and when it was implemented, it decreased affordability for buyers immediately by 20%.
And I was freaking out.
Because if people were looking for a $600,000 home, they were all of a sudden looking for a $500,000 home.
And we didn't have any.
Right. And the poor folks that were looking for, say, a $300,000 condo, they were pushed right out of the market.
Correct.
Now, in today's market, interest rates have increased to, in most cases, around 5%, which leaves borrowers qualifying at 7%.
Right.
The saving grace, of course, is reduced home prices.
Yep.
So with a decrease in affordability of 20%, is it safe to say that in most cases, the real estate market has also declined by 20%?
At least.
Okay, so the two things may, in some circumstances, level each other off.
They could.
Okay, why don't you cover the next one for us?
You need a down payment?
You need a down payment. So to buy a home in this market, you always need a down payment. Now, for homes priced up to $500,000, it's a 5% down payment.
Right.
So $500,000 home, $25,000 down payment. Now, you remember when both of us got in the business, there was no money down mortgages. Do you remember how amazing those were?
They were.
Yeah. So they don't exist anymore. So if you're going to buy a home, you're going to need a down payment. Now, for those with less than 20% down, the max amortization is 25 years. And maybe you can explain what an amortization is.
So that's the amount of time that they use for you to pay back that mortgage. So whatever time frame. So there's 30-year AMs and there's 25-year AMs. Typically, it's 25. So 25 years to pay off your home.
Yep. We call it the life of the mortgage in some cases as well. So if you're purchasing a home with less than 20% down, which is most first-time home buyers, the maximum amortization is 25 years. Now, a lot of people think that this will just push them right out of the market because the payment will be so high. But I know you've explained this to me before. Most of your buyers just simply adjust their budget.
Right.
So they get pre-approved, we find out how much they can spend, and then they just basically adjust their budget based on that, right? So how about this one, rental properties? So a lot of people think you can buy a rental property with 5% down.
And there used to be a time.
It was a wonderful time.
And it was about 10 years ago that when they stopped that. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I thought, oh my God, there goes the market.
Yeah.
And yet investors, as you know, have gone crazy ever since.
Yeah.
So had they not put that into place, we would have had a bigger problem.
We would have had a way bigger problem because investors would be buying rental properties with 5% down or 10% down. Now, to purchase an investment property, you'll need 20% down. But there's a few caveats as well that we should chat about. And that's if you're going to buy a home that's occupied by family. So if you're purchasing a home for, say, your son or your daughter, aging parents, you don't need 20% down, which is great.
Yep.
The other circumstances, if you have an apartment in your home, you may also not need 20% down. So as long as there's an owner-occupied component or family living in the property, you could get away with a down payment of less than 20% down. Now, there's another circumstance where you need 20% down, and this was becoming a problem, I think, in the spring that just passed, right? Spring of 2022.
It was, because $1 million, you cannot get CMHC financing on anything over $1 million. So 9,999, and a lot of sellers would want to list their homes just over $1 million, and that's just wiping out an entire
category of the market, right?
A category of buyers, and they just would never see it.
So if you have a home that's priced at $1 million or greater, you'll need a 20% down payment.
Right.
And that's why the homes that were priced at 9,999 or lower were flying off the shelf in the spring, right? Because the financing options were more plentiful. I mean, somebody could purchase a home with, say, 10% down on a home that was priced at $900,000. But as soon as it crested the $1 million mark, they automatically needed 20% down.
Yep, and they brought that in about 3 years ago, and I remember thinking about it then, and it's like, oh, that's going to suck for people in Toronto. And yet, 3 years later, it sucked for people in Barrie and Simcoe because our prices just went crazy.
And the good news is, prices have now decreased.
Yep.
And people have become more comfortable with adapting to a new purchase price, a new area, a new type of home, maybe from a detached home to a townhouse or something like that. So you heard about the rules and you heard about how to navigate those rules. And if you're looking for more information, reach out.